Well then, I guess this is actually kind of a series now, huh? New Jurassic World Evolution 3 DLC slash update, which means welcome back, everyone, to Returning Species Island. Or, as it's called in Spanish, Isola piena di vecchie specie ti piacciono I tuoi nuovi stivali di cemento. I think that's how it translates. Yeah, new DLC, new update, and boy is it a contentious one on so many levels, but let's get into it. Now, before we get too into it, just a little bit of a disclaimer. I have allowed myself, because PC Master Race, to get a couple of mods, nothing big, mostly just sort of like minor cosmetics, one of which you will see over there. Because I just figured, you know what, it's appropriate. Let's do it. Now, let's figure out what we are gonna be Ooh. That's actually thank you, game, for providing the segue of a marine lagoon creature doing a thing. Because this is very much the Oops All Lagoon Animals update. So, I feel like that's probably the best place to start. This lagoon is not gonna cut it for anything, is it? I mean, the Lioplurodonts are only barely working as is. So, yeah, I should probably start to rethink my lagoon situation. The problem with Returning Species Island is that I've sort of slightly run out of space in most of it. Well, I say that. I have this space over here by the duckheads, which, I mean, that could be repurposed, but it is not that much space either. And I kind of like the idea of the Cretaceous cruise that runs through here, and that's not going to interact well with lagoons, is it? I have some space over here, which I was once trying to, like, set up having two separate herds of Amargasaurus, and I forget which was the probably the Kentrosaurus then, in two separate halves of the enclosure, but that doesn't work. Which sort of leaves, I have two peninsulas I can use. I have this one over here by the aviary, which I suppose would be interesting, to have the aviary and lagoon sort of right next to each other like that. Or, like, I suppose I could expand this into a full-on lagoon bit as well. That could probably work, actually. But I think the safe option is if we just cross over here beyond the T-Rexes. There is this little peninsula, which I have left entirely unused. And now that we have the Crocodilia Coast DLC and all that, I could just turn this into like a bit of a like coastal resort town type deal. That honestly kind of works for me. I wonder if I can use much of the beach to that. So if we just lower to flat from about there, honestly. More fall off, more slope. To sort of try and cut it as cleanly as possible. Game lags a little. It's fine. We're just demolishing a peninsula. Oh no, the girls are fighting again. Guys, this is not your episode. You were last time. Relax. So that being said, at least we can see some combat animations, so that's neat. I'm pretty sure this one just got blinded. Because the animations didn't quite line up, but, you know, never mind. To just beachify all of this for now. Because what we do sort of need to try and find out is how much lagoon section we're gonna need, really.
Transporting asset.
And to do that, I think we shall get cooking on trying to find these animals. But first of all, obviously, they probably need to be researched. Yes, they do, and they are thankfully all in the same marine animal stick side. Alright, so let's get the scientists to work on this. We're gonna do as much speedy uppies as we can. Neat. Because, yeah, I don't know how much lagoon space I'm gonna actually need. I suppose we'll have to find out. That says a low area need. That doesn't feel right. I don't think 5 lagoon tiles for, like, I don't think 1¼ lagoon tile, essentially, is low area need. I don't think that's how that works. But sure, let's have a look at how that compares to Elasmosaurus. It does say low area need, but that, I mean, low area need could mean anything. I would like if you could throw some numbers at me, game, but no, apparently not. So, look, I'm not gonna say that I don't get why some people hate this this depiction. But I'm also not gonna say that I don't think it gives, like, mythological serpent. And I'm kinda okay with that. I have an idea. I have an idea. We shall see if that's gonna work out. The Rexes are getting up there in age. I should I think I might need to improvise if I want to not have to continue breeding Rexes, because that's kind of part of the challenge that I want to do. Oh, good. I thought for a second that it was going to tell me that the Rex had died immediately after I said. Thankfully, it was just quote-unquote a Kentrosaurus. Thankfully, there are plenty of those. But I do I give? I could give this peninsula over to the T-Rex. That would free up sort of a smaller enclosure over here as well. That could work. That could... why are you not being maintained? What's going on? Oh, it's because you're literally just outside the range of 2 of them. Oh well. You know what? I like the idea of this being the T-Rex. If for nothing else than because I can, if I wanted to, try and decorate it up to look like the Lost World. You know what? That's a fun idea. I'm gonna do that. If we are gonna want to move the T-Rexes over here, we will want, first of all, gate for vehicles to pass through, and gonna probably want a viewing platform of some kind. And you know what? Let's continue the vague sort of Jurassic Park aesthetic I'm going with. Oh great, it's the duckheads again. Come on, where are you? Ugh. I love how this vehicle just is uncontrollable. Oh great, I found all 3 of them. Neat. Come on, this way. I've told you repeatedly to stay in your enclosure. I don't know why you're not doing it. Game is being very laggy right now. Alright, here we go. Come on. Back inside. Neat. There we are. That is the path over here built.
Asset transportation in progress.
Fantastic. I'm gonna leave because I don't know what I'm gonna do, if I'm gonna want to put like a ranger station or anything up here, so I'm gonna leave that for now. We're gonna want to work with the power. Where's the nearest like power line already? It's probably over here. Neat. But actually what we can / should do is try and... Did I not connect this up last time? I suppose I mustn't have. Because we should probably connect it up like this, so that now there's a big loop around the mountain of power. Why are you... What is the matter with you? Oh, it's because there's... No, you know what? I think that might be fair. I just don't know where has... I could swear that I put 2 prey feeders in there. And that's why you're angry. But sure, you know what? Have another. Put it up here for funsies, why not? Sure, you know what? Let's have fun. And also, you might remember when people were a lot bit upset that none of the Return to Jurassic Park stuff reappeared in subsequent games except for the individual pylon. Well, Evolution 3 sort of has a fix to this. It's called we can use the modular building to edit this substation group. Then we can move you out. Because we don't want the modern pole down here in the Jurassic Park section. We are gonna head into... I forget where it is, so I'm just gonna go search for a pylon. And then we can just plunk this one in. All we need to do at that point is highlight this one, split from group, and then delete it. Bada bing, we now have a retro-looking substation. Right, let's worry about the T-Rexes, because those are probably the ones that are the most desperate for it. Alright, you two, are you ready for a relocating? Neat. Now for the next one. Also not too much trouble, all things could... I don't think that's how bones work, but sure. That is definitely how ragdoll physics work, however. I think GTA 4 has taught everyone that much. At this point, it should just be a matter of they're gonna need a little bit of watery doodles. Why is everyone fighting all of a sudden? Is this part of the update, that new like chaos preset? That dinosaur combat has been set to maximum. No, it should just be... It was just on normal. Why is it... Sure, why not? I suppose this is sort of dinosaur combat maximum back from the first game, except it's now called increased. And also it stops you from turning off dinosaur comfort. Sure? Are you just... No, but you know what we can? Because we haven't upgraded you yet. So we can give you an additional team, and then you can go and take care of the new T-Rex enclosure. Neat. Will be a bit of a drive, but whatever. It'll probably be fine. It's just the T-Rexes. Anyway, we were supposed to be building lagoons, and I've sort of not really started on that yet.
There's nothing more satisfying than taking something off the to-do list. But to get there, you need something on it first. I can help with that.
I mean, it's $1.5 million just for free. I'll take that. Okay, lagoons, as I was saying.
And by association, you're making a name for this park. Good work.
We need to finish off making them first. Neat. I believe that should be 100% for all of them. Neat. So we can now work on bringing our 3 returning lagoon species back. Fantastic. It's gonna probably go something a little bit like this. And yeah, I think... Like, I have a fun idea. It's called Let's Use the new DLC thingies for, like, a boardwalk type thing. It's not really gonna be a boardwalk because the reasons of how lagoons work, but they'll get close enough, hopefully. So now we have this space that we can use to put buildings down. Fantastic. Okay. Neat. We're getting there. We might be able to see animals anytime now. Fantastic. And... which of... oh, of course. I forgot to check on the T-Rexes. Oh well. Hello, T-Rex. Follow me, please. And if you could tell your buddy to come along as well, that'd be neat. Yeah, come on. You can follow me that way. What? Keep up. Yep, there you are. Must go slower and all that. Oh hey, would you look at that? It's the other T-Rex. Now, I just sort of need to loop around. That didn't go as planned at all. Alright, you know what? That's not the way. This is the way. Right, now, back to your pen with you. And we are back to the lagoons once again, and actually it's kinda neat that it's turned to night now, because if we start then with the Stegosaurus, which has a very hauntingly beautiful sound bite. I'm gonna breed an extra batch just to be safe. Because one of them is aggressive and I don't want that. The other also has intolerance. I think... okay, this is just a garbage batch altogether. Come on, give me at least 2 that are, you know, capable of being in the same enclosure as other animals. You're really not helping me here, game. Neat. You have absolutely no traits whatsoever, but it's one of each. I'll take it. And then I can sort of throw a third one in there from the other batch. Neat. How are you? Of course, that's because you're just doing a thing. But you are right that I do need to put one of these in here.
Asset has been delivered.
You're right that I do need to put 2 of these in here. Actually, we can also then move the Cryolophosaurs to what was the T-Rex enclosure. That kind of works. Right, back to the Styxosaurs, because there are now a couple waiting for release. And would you look at that, one of them has bioluminescence as standard.
Mythology, the river Styx separated the world of the living from that of the dead. Fearsome monsters were said to inhabit those waters, dragging wayward souls into the depths. The Styxosaurus is a brilliant animal, but it is every bit as intimidating as its namesake.
It really kind of is, yeah. You're right about that, Dua. So that is pretty great. The Styxosaurs seem to be sort of mostly happy. I'll probably go and do some decorationing of it at some point, because it's just a bland enclosure right now. Okay. You know what? We might as well look into the Styxosaurs a bit while we are, waiting for other things to happen. You are obviously gonna need a marine animal nesting area, so we're gonna pop in at least the one, and we're gonna probably pop another one in over here as well. And you know what, let's try and do a little bit of lagoon decorating once my controller reconnects, thank you. I'm not good at doing this kind of thing, and it's not like on my own time. And even then, I'm like barely decent.
Attention personnel. We have an asset on the loose and in need of immediate capture.
Oh great, now what? Not you again. And you've run off to all the... You know what? Sure, let's just have one of the helicopters work with that, because I don't... Well, aside from the bit where this is... You know what? I think I don't necessarily like doing this, but we might have to.
We are pleased to welcome a Draco Rex to the park.
Just so that it can,
Attention personnel.
stop the Dinochirus from breaking out every single time.
Capture teams report in.
Just because I like the aesthetics of having a waterfall and not, a big concrete block. So I think I am just gonna have to go invisible fence and try and see if that will work. Well, the good news is that now that the scientists are also rested, we can get working on the Shonisaurus. Which I do. I like that this is just the marine reptile that... It's not so much that it makes you, but that it is big and round.
The Shonisaurus is an incredible animal, and that's ignoring the fact that it's one of the biggest marine reptiles of all time. We are truly, truly lucky to have this Triassic Titan in our park.
Honestly, that's kind of a good segue. Because obviously the Shonisaurus and Styxosaurus, they are returning animals from Jurassic World Evolution 2. But they were DLC animals. And they are now also part of DLC in Jurassic World Evolution 3. And boy howdy, are people upset about this. And look, I get it. I get precisely why this feels well, shit. It feels shit. Let's just be honest. It's shit. Counterpoint, what other options do we realistically have? Sure, the perfect scenario is that we would get all of the returning Evolution 2 animals for free. But first of all, that was never explicitly promised. Second of all, you do realize just how many returning species there are still to come, right? God, why are you breaking fences again? Oh, right, I forgot it's because you have the thing, isn't it? Where is it? Yep, intelligent. There it is. Well, okay then. You know what? You're also gonna get invisible fences just so you can't do that shit. Ask me if I care. Well, I do, but I can't. Anyway, as I was saying, you do realize that as of this DLC, I'm pretty sure that there are 26 remaining species. 10 of which are base animals, which we will we can assume will come at a rate of 1 a month. As, you know, they have done so far, to Frontier's credits, except for, you know, that one time the entire Jurassic IP shut down for a few months. That is sort of a commitment of until summer next year, roughly. And that, sort of 1.5, 2 years post-launch support, I can see that work. That sounds about right. Because we do need to acknowledge that Evolution 2 was... Evolution 2 was dealt probably the best hand of all of these games, in the sense that it was ready for Dominion's launch, but Dominion wasn't. So that got an extra year of being the Jurassic World Evolution game, just entirely because of that. We don't know yet, and we won't for a while, how Jurassic World 4 is gonna shape out. I know that it's just lost its director, so, you know, who the hell knows what's going on with that. But I think we should disregard Evolution 2 as a sort of roughly how long can we expect these games to be supported. And I believe Evolution 1, that tracks with about an hour and a half or so. The thing is, that does still leave the 16 DLC species that we have yet to see return. Now, here's the thing. This is technically the third Evolution 3 DLC. The second that isn't like a Jurassic World movie tie-in. I believe again that something checks out at around 8 or 9 DLC packs per game. I believe. I don't have the numbers to hand. But if we assume the same general pattern of 2, in some cases maybe 3, or maybe some that, you know, get given out like for the game's 1-year anniversary and stuff like that, that also ends up checking out at a commitment of until summer of next year. And because we know so little, as little as we do about the timeline of how long are we expecting, like how is things going on Jurassic World 4? Like when is that? Because a Jurassic World 4 is almost inevitably gonna mean a Jurassic World Evolution 4. No, I don't mean Jurassic World 4, I mean Jurassic World 5, don't I? Jesus Christ, they've made so many of these movies. Point is, new Jurassic World movie, new Jurassic World Evolution game. And a new Jurassic World Evolution game is gonna need at least a few months worth of development. Like, regardless of anything else. Because that's just how game dev works. So, even if the Jurassic World 5 movie is set to launch in, I believe the sort of time frame that people are expecting is 2028, because that just sort of works out with the roughly 3-year plan that they... Well, I say that they have a plan for Jurassic World movies. Evidently they fucking don't. But that works out. So that, again, if 2028 is the release of the next Jurassic World movie, that would put end of, active support for Evolution 3 somewhere around summer of 2027. This is a timeline that makes so much sense in my head. I do agree that this does. I don't necessarily like having to pay for DLC animals again, but it's either that, or chances are we don't get them back at all. Pick your poison. And also, I feel like I need to just because. Actually, we could probably get. Let's see if we can't get an Elasmosaurus in here as well, because why not?
There were two things that I was truly scared of as a kid: snakes and sea monsters. You might think that the Elasmosaurus is my personal nightmare with its long neck and giant flippers, but weirdly, I think it's kind of beautiful.
Cabot Finch is based as hell alert! Here's the other thing that people always because it turns out that Jurassic World Evolution players and Gran Turismo / Forza Horizon players are pretty much the same, actually. Because none of you understand that there's very little chance that the Shonisaurus and Styxosaurus in this DLC took spaces that were supposed to, or you know, quote unquote supposed to be taken up by other crocs. They most likely did not. They are most likely there again because they need to get working on the DLC species backlog. And also, what possible evidence, what possible theory do you have for what possible explanation do you have for the fucking wetlands pack was 3 animals, right? The thing is that usually, like the DLCs for these Jurassic World Evolution games, they set a precedent and then they stick to that. The precedent in Evolution 2, because I don't remember exactly what the precedent in Evolution 1 was, I believe that was 3 animals as well? But the precedent in Evolution 2 was 4 animals. Most of which would be 2 dinosaurs, 1 pterosaur and 1 marine reptile. But generally 4 animals. There is no reason to suspect that the precedent in Evolution 3 won't be 3 new animals, possibly up to 2 returning DLC species so far. Maybe there will be more, maybe there will be less, because, you know, the Dinochirus situation. But why do you think that the Crocodilia Coast Pack was meant to have 5 unique new animals, and all of the... and because something didn't work out with 2 of them, they just decided, fuck it, we'll repurpose Shonisaurus and Styxosaurus. How little brain capacity do you have? Anyway, why are you unable to find fish? Oh, it's because you've been driven over to this side where they're... Okay, never mind. Also, we should definitely, to get some guests down here... We can... get some blueprints, hopefully. If we just plop you down there for now. And then we can place a costume restaurant. And it... Okay, it doesn't work that big. Neat. Medium? Yeah, medium can probably work. And then we simply throw you on like this. And why are you still not covered by the thing? Okay, again. Coastal. Get the boardwalk restaurant. Yes. Get you to try and line up there. Neat. I have a suspicion that that's going to be as good as it's going to get. Unless... How and why have you done this, Frontier? How and why? You know what, I've decided that's close enough. So we're gonna... delete. Move you. Over just like that. Sure, why not?
Beneath the surface of the water, deep in the depths of prehistory, lie magnificent marine marvels. Ladies and gentlemen, prepare to be amazed.
And then we also needed a drink. Can we just cheese and throw that in here? Maybe.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to welcome the Styxosaurus to the park.
Oh, I didn't even see the thing about that. The Styxosaurus have already, neat. Where are you, little ones? Oh boy, and there's a lot. Okay. This is not working out, is it? Yeah, I think it's too late. She's, this ain't working. Yeah, no. Ah, well. I suppose I will just have to eventually make new Cryolophosaurus and new T-Rex, but that'll be fine, probably. Why are you that bad? Oh, it's because you have aggressive. Yeah, can't have that.
En route to collect the asset.
Again, I'm trying to play this with as few custom rules as possible, which include I can't turn off aggressive. You, I can grab you while you're down here already.
I have control.
Because that means you are in this area. So you are hereby responsible for the lagoon section. Neat. Still nothing. Come on, T-Rexes, get it on with.
Transportation underway.
You can do it, I believe in you.
To welcome a Dracorex to the park.
You infected again. I don't know how many times I've caught this, but this feeder just loves getting infected. Another the Elasmosaur's turn. Neat. You are being really productive, marine environment. Suppose get some T-Rexes that hopefully will actually be able to breed. Do I have more staff centers? I do. Neat. So I can plop one down somewhere. You can go over here, actually. I've just thought of it. You kind of... I mean, you don't thematically fit, but you do space-wise. So that's cool. And Elasmosaurus babies. Hold still so I can look at you. How long do we think until people start making posts about how much better the juvenile is? Suppose it is weird that the adult Elasmosaurs do still have the like foggy eyes, whereas the adults seemingly don't. Or the juveniles, sorry. Not too sure what's going on with that, but sure. More of you. And T-Rexes don't want to just release into there. No, you are getting released into the Rex paddock. And while we're at it, and every single one of you are intelligent. Okay. What about you? Okay, so I can get Cryolophosaurus on. I think I shall try to go for that. Just because that'll hopefully make it slightly easier. Make them slightly less likely to do things. That was one. Sure. I'd really like it if I could get them in one, like, thing game. No. No, because why would I? Fine, fine. Why are you all unhappy? Oh, it's because there's a... Sure. And you've destroyed the Ranger team vehicle again because the helicopter was occupied.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to welcome a Sayarodactylus to the park.
I don't know what you're on about, but that is not a Pterodactylus.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to welcome a Cryolophosaurus to the park.
That's more like it. I'm not too displeased with how this looks. Like, again, as something that was thrown together in, what, an hour and a half, 2 hours or thereabouts, of all dealing with all of the other things as well. Well, not even that, like, yeah, I'm not too displeased with this. But I think that's going to be it for this time. See you next month when we still don't get Ouranosaurus, because the J-Pop special will not stop being funny like that.